I've been working on getting up from my desk for about 2 hours now because I'm currently self-sabotaging my success. Hey girl, my name is Dion, also known as the Face of Ambition across all social media platforms. And listen, this is not what I plan to talk about today. I have been working on getting up from my desk for about 2 hours now because I have content to create and I go into a lot of planning when I'm creating content. I really follow my heart and I pray about things before I decide to record it. And so I was prepared. This morning I woke up with a plan because I don't believe in going to sleep without a plan for the next day because I just don't operate off of, feelings and emotions. It's just not how I operate. Y'all know I'm a planner owner, so I like to plan my day. But I finished my last meeting at around 11 o'clock and I've been sitting at my desk literally like clicking on buttons, refreshing screens, shuffling. I have nothing else to do. For this block of time, it says it's record day. You need to record content. You've got something to say. Remember, you planned it and you wrote it out. And I've done absolutely nothing. And it was loud as day that the Holy Spirit was like, you're sabotaging your success. And I have done this before, many times before. And I sat there in that moment and I just was really replaying all of the times that I've sabotaged my success for whatever reason. Either I sabotage success or it's just a fear of failure. So fear of failure is whenever you haven't even started. Like you've not even started the thing you say you're gonna do and you already decided that you're not gonna be good at it and you're gonna fail. Sabotaging your success is you have found the success, you're doing the thing that you want to do, and then you procrastinate, you allow limiting beliefs, you allow anxiety and stress to stand in the way of you doing the thing that you know you're supposed to do. And as I sat there at my desk and realized what I was doing, I have done this so many times before, and I know that I'm not alone. When we are on this reinvention journey and we're starting to see success, it's scary because change is hard. Change is scary. It doesn't feel normal because normally I show up as the person I've always been. Normally I, don't eat well and I don't work out and I don't plan my day and I don't save my money, but I'm reinventing myself. I'm changing. I said I wanted to do this. I'm on my glow up journey. I'm changing things up. But the reality of it is that this journey is hard. And if you're not aware of the fact that you're going to try to sabotage yourself every step of the way, it is going to be that much harder. So girl, let me get dressed. While I get dressed, I'm gonna talk to you about the 3 steps, maybe it's 5 steps, that I wrote out while I was sitting there about why we self-sabotage, what it looks like, and then what to do to overcome self-sabotage. And I want you all to know, I actually write out steps. I'm sure you all have noticed. If this is your first time at my channel, you may not know this, but when I tell you I'm the step queen, like I love a step, I love a micro tip, I love a top 10 this, I love these things because I want you to be able to identify where you fit in. I know this step that I fit in on, but I like to give options. I love options. I love to be able to say, like maybe 1 and 3 don't apply to you, but 2 and 4, baby, it is spot on. So if I give you these steps, if I give you tips, if I give you these numbers, hopefully you'll be able to find yourself in one of them. I want you to be able to identify self-sabotage because she comes dressed in a lot of different outfits. She doesn't look the same every time she shows up. Sometimes she looks like your husband, your spouse, your partner asking you to go out for a coffee whenever you know you're supposed to be going to the gym or planning your day or writing content or filming or editing or getting on a business meeting. Sometimes she comes in that form. It's harmless, right? But you say yes because you don't have the boundaries that it takes to say, actually right now, I'm supposed to be doing this. And then once I finish this, it's not gonna take me long to do. It's gonna take me an hour because I've already monotasked my day. I know how long these type of tasks take. I'm gonna be able to go and do X, Y, Z, right? But instead, we'll say yes. Oh yeah, we'll be like, well, I had to do it. I never spend time with them. I never spend time with my kids. My kids always ask me to do stuff and I always just push them off and I always say no and I always do these things. No, honey, that is you actually just not having the boundaries and making up reasons, oftentimes, not every time, but sometimes making up excuses as to why you should do it whenever you know that you've promised yourself that you were gonna do something else. You guys, this is a little beauty since I'm getting ready for this, eye cream is amazing. Like, you get the eye cream, you always have too much. Wipe it on your neck. It helps with your neck and décolleté to be able, am I saying that right? Décolleté? Y'all correct me in the chat. Somehow I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong. But eye cream, when you have a little too much, you've already patted enough under your eyes, rub it on your neck. It's that same skin that's under your eyes. It's actually located on your neck and chest. Let's just call it a chest since I don't know the name of it right now. So let me get into these tips. I actually jotted them down, like I said, because I wanted to be able just to encourage you. This journey is hard. We call it a glow up journey, and that sounds so sexy and it sounds so cute, but baby, this journey is hard, and you can feel lonely, and you can sabotage your success. Before you know it, you're standing right in the middle of what you're supposed to do. You know what you want to achieve. You know the person you want to be. You know the business you want to start. You know the way you want to dress. You know how much weight you want to lose. You know the next job you want to work on. And then something happens, and you'll be like me, sitting at your desk for the past 2 hours, drinking bottled water, eating gummy bears. So tip number one, I've basically already said it, is that sometimes there's fear of failure or fear of success. You have to be able to identify it in yourself. I know what it is for me. I know exactly what I do whenever I start sabotaging my success. I know exactly what it feels like whenever I have a fear of failure. And the crazy part of it is that I had a podcast a while ago called The Failure Report, because I actually love to celebrate failures. I love to try. I'm going to always be seen trying. But fear of failure is real. Sometimes you feel like, why should I try? I've never done this before. How can I start a business? Nobody I know owns their own business. How can I be successful when everybody says, oh, 90% of women that start a business ends in failure, ends in the first year, ends in the, I mean, like, the statistics seem real stacked against me, and I'm gonna sit up here and be like, oh, they couldn't, but I can? That's real. Like, that's a real feeling. Fear of failure can show up in a lot of ways. But what you have to do is identify the patterns of avoidance and procrastination, negative self-talk. Whenever you're faced with a challenge or opportunity to grow, if that's the thing that you go to first, if you start avoiding it, if you start having all those negative beliefs and self-talk, that's whenever you know that you're actually working to sabotage your success. I know that we deal with stress and anxiety, and I know that even past failures sometimes stand in the way of us feeling like we can. When you identify that that's your drug of choice, whenever you realize, like, whenever I'm ready to be afraid, when I'm ready to sabotage myself, these are the things that I do. For me, it's procrastination. What you then need to do is really challenge that behavior. What I did to challenge that behavior today was I wrote out these steps. But for you, it could really be that you're going to start identifying the limiting beliefs and the negative self-talk that you just said, like what you just said out loud, and really start journaling. Write down the things that you've said about yourself that you couldn't do, and answer the question of, is it true or not? Is it true that you're not smart enough to start a business? No. Is it true that you can't get up and go to the gym? Is it true that you can't run today on the treadmill? Is it true that you can't meal prep? Is it true that you can't get a date? Is it true that you can't clean your home? Is it true? Are all of these things true? I mean, we self-sabotage a number of things. Maybe not even to do with business, but even the person that you, woman that you want to become, the woman that you're reinventing yourself into. Is it true that you can't have friends? Is it true that you can't change your friend group and say positive things and love living in a clean home and have a good smelling environment and clean out your car today? Is that true? Like, if it's true, you can't do it. You can't do it. That's not a limiting belief. It's not sabotage. You just truly can't do it. But when you write that list and you identify the things that you know what, none of these things are true, you're sabotaging your success. Number two is a lack of self-confidence. I mean, years of experience, personal setbacks, internal criticism, all of those things really hurt our confidence. We are our own worst critic, and our lack of self-confidence can manifest in self-doubt, perfectionism, or even resistance to change. When you find yourself hesitating when it's time to achieve your goals, when you want to achieve a goal and you're finding yourself holding yourself back, like you're telling yourself you can't before you even start, before you even try, I want you to start noticing the pattern. What I want you to do is pay attention to the moments of self-doubt or hesitation whenever you're trying to pursue a goal. If you start to notice a pattern of hesitating whenever it's time to do something, whenever you need a lot of validation to approve your decisions that you're making, if you trust others' instincts above your own, then you may be lacking self-confidence. And listen, sis, we all do. I know there was a time that I had to ask everybody if it was a good idea before I did it. Nah, what you gonna do with this contour? No, let me ask y'all a question. Where you going? Where you going? Baby, hold on. A little too heavy-handed on the contour. But seriously, I had to ask everybody's idea. Do you think I should? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think we should do it today, next week, tomorrow? And mind you, I'm the person that makes all the decisions. I've been a business owner for almost 20 years. But when it came down to the simplest things, like the smallest things in the decision-making process, somehow I was getting so stuck. And the reality of it is I really wasn't stuck. I was sabotaging my success. Because, if they said no, if they said maybe, if they even hesitated a little bit, I was like, you're right, I knew it wasn't a good idea. God has gifted us with intuition. We know the things that we're supposed to pursue. He's given us gifts, talents, ambitions for a reason. We cannot allow our lack of confidence to stand in the way of the things that we know we're supposed to do. Y'all, I'm enjoying being this close to the camera way too much because number 3 is people pleasing and perfectionism. Look, I'm looking into the viewfinder at myself. You know, since we're women of a certain age, we've created these weird external expectations to maintain a certain image, which leads to people-pleasing behaviors and perfectionism. We've always been the person that has it together. We know exactly what we're gonna do, what we're gonna wear, our next business move, how much money to save. We go on the perfect trips, we have the perfect curated life, we have all the things together. But the reality of it is that we're a mess. We're not sleeping, our skin's all broken out, we're not eating right, blood pressure's all over the place. And why? To be able to please somebody else, to be able to seem perfect, to be able to seem like I didn't mess up, I didn't turn the wrong way, I actually meant to do that. You know how you see somebody fall down or make a mistake and they act like they meant to do it? I have been that girl, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I thought I was going to do this, I thought this was the way to do it, I thought this is what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, even if I thought this is what I wanted to recreate myself into. I thought that these are the goals that I had, but I was wrong. I changed my mind. The most beautiful part about being a woman is the ability to change your mind. I've told you all this before, but my mom hates when people say, I thought you said. You know, when people are like, I thought you said you were gonna be vegan. I thought you said you were gonna run 3 miles a day. I thought you said you weren't gonna do that anymore. I thought you said you were changing and reinventing yourself and you were gonna plan your goals out and you were gonna be all organized and meal prep. But honey, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Yes, I said it in that moment and I decided against it. If you find yourself saying yes to things you don't wanna do, that's probably a sign that you're people pleasing or you're dealing with perfectionism. Now, I told you all that I'm on a reinvention journey of my own. And one of the things that I'm really practicing whenever it comes to people pleasing and perfectionism is setting boundaries. Saying no is a complete sentence. And my job every day is to protect my most valuable asset, my time and energy. Prioritizing self-care and allocating time for rest, relaxations, and other things that bring you joy are really the ways that you start changing this behavior. Another self-sabotaging belief is that we can't do something because of our age. I know that there are going to be women that watch this video that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s, and even their 90s. But here's the deal. Oftentimes we allow our age and the things that we believe we can do at a certain age to limit ourselves. Again, write it down. Can I not do a triathlon because I'm 60? No. Maybe if you just had a knee replacement, the answer is no. But the honest answer is yeah, you can do it. Sometimes we say things like, oh, I can't do that because I'm too old. I can't start a YouTube channel. I can't start TikTok. I can't write a book. I can't start a new business. I'm too old to do that. You know, I've already gotten settled in my ways. People already know me for doing this. Well, I feel
like an imposter stepping into that space.
Honey, please stop self-sabotaging your success. We are waiting for you. Your age has absolutely nothing to do with your ability. You need what you have to offer. I know that there are a lot of stereotypes that are out there about women over 40 and things that they can and can't do, but don't allow that to hold you back. I know that I can say a lot about holding you back in business and not starting the things that you say you're going to do, but I'm just going to give you that eye. You know that eye your mama gave you? Don't do that. Don't let anybody tell you you can't when you know that God has given you purpose. He's given you drive, skills, and abilities that he's not given anybody else. If it's for you, it will happen for you. Do not allow anyone else, or even the stereotypes or the things, the perceived notions that you have around your age to hold you back. You guys remember when I said it was 3 steps? Then I thought maybe it was 5 steps? It was 5 steps. Stop being resistant to change. When you're on your glow up journey, your reinvention journey, it can feel like I'm always changing, or I've tried this before and it didn't work, or this is my very first time even trying something like this. I don't know how this works. But what I need for you to do is when you start noticing the feelings of discomfort, resistance, or avoidance, when you're confronted with the need to change or a new adaptation, pay attention to the excuses or the rationales that you give to why you're not going to do something. And I know, it feels good to stay in the familiar. The unfamiliar is really scary. I really want you to embrace the fact that feeling scared is natural. Being fearful of change, being fearful of the unknown is normal. It's literally an inevitable part of life. But this is when you have to focus on your why. Why did you say you wanted to change in the first place? Why was change necessary? Why now? Why is it that you want to become something else? Why do you want individuals to experience you differently? Why do you want to change the city that you live in, or your job, or how your perceived notion of yourself? Why do you want to change your weight? Why do you want to look different? Why do you want to dress differently? I know we're not in a traditional coaching session right now, but I'm going to give you some homework. I need for you to find your why. Why now? Why is this important? And why are you the person to do it? Answer the questions. Why now? Why is this the moment that you need to change? If this is not your moment to change and you're really honest with yourself, then put it off for a few weeks. But if you know that in your gut, in your heart, God has told you that it's time to do things differently, then why are you resisting it? Why are you saying no when God has already given you everything that you need to say yes? Now, I have to warn you, I'm about to contradict everything that I just said. There are times in our life when it feels like we're sabotaging our success, but it actually could be God saying no. I'm instantly reminded of this story of when the guy was on the donkey and he's headed to some city and the donkey starts talking to him, and because he won't move, like the donkey's like in the road and he won't move. And he's like, the donkey starts talking. Like if y'all never read this in the Bible, you have to read it because it's insane. The donkey's like, listen, have I ever done this to you before? Like I've never not taken you where you wanted to go before. I'm stopped for a reason. And that story resonates with me so often because sometimes I feel like I'm sabotaging my success. I'm not moving forward. I'm sitting at my desk for the past 2 hours, but perhaps it's because you're not supposed to do what you think you're supposed to do at the time you think you're supposed to do it. What if you believe that you're supposed to do something right now? Like I just started this video saying I'm supposed to record this video, but it's actually God pressing the pause. This is whenever you have to be in tune with what God is saying. You know how I talk about the difference between prayer and meditation? Prayer is you're talking to God. Meditation is when you're listening. Everything that I just said is absolutely true. I just gave you the top 5 ways that we can sabotage our success, but the 6th and most important is that you have got to listen to God's voice. If he's saying no, not right now, wait, this is not the time. What you think is your why is actually not aligned with his purpose. Be okay with the pause. Now, how do you know the difference? Oh, this is where it gets difficult. It's because the way that you know the difference is because you actually know God's voice. When you spend time with somebody, they can be 5 rooms away and you know when they're speaking to you. My dog's name is Friday, and I tell you, she doesn't look up when I say, yeah, we can meet Friday at noon. She doesn't look up at all, but whenever I'm speaking to her and I'm saying the exact same name, she knows that I'm calling her. When you have a relationship with someone, you know their voice. Now I have to tell you, God was not telling me to not record this video just a while ago. That was me standing in the way of my success because I'm scared. I'm scared that this video won't be as good as the last. I'm scared that I may not present well, or I may stumble over my words, or I may come off a way that I didn't intend. But what I had to do in that moment was say, you know what? I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna push play on this camera and I'm gonna record this because somebody else needs to hear my inner thoughts. My inner thought was holding me hostage. My fear of success was actually holding me back. I am sure you have heard me say before that success is a decision. Today, you get to decide if you're going to be successful or not. Today, you get to decide if you're going to know what God's voice sounds like and how he's leading in your life. All of it's a decision. So I want to encourage you the next time that you feel like you're sabotaging yourself to really understand why. Why am I fearful? Why am I afraid? Take time and journal it. Write those things down. Whenever you have recurring emotions around something, this is the time to write down that emotion. When you start seeing yourself approaching that situation, and because you've already identified, this is how I normally handle this situation, you now have the tools to handle it differently. And you know what? I should actually rephrase that. You now have a decision to make. You can choose to do it the way you've always done it, or you can choose to try something new. Girl, I already know that you're gonna try something new. You're not gonna stay in the same place that you've been. You're not gonna do the same thing that you've always done, the same way that you've always done it. Today's the day that you can change everything. Do not allow sabotage and fear of failure to hold you back any longer. Like I said, we are waiting for you. I know that you are full of gift, purpose, and ambition. I know that you have gifts and talents that we are waiting to experience. When you see yourself about to sabotage your success, think of me sitting at that desk for the past 2 hours, doodling, clicking on the computer, scrolling on Instagram. And imagine me pulling out a piece of paper saying, no, not today. Instead, I'm going to use this moment to empower someone else. And that someone else is you. Okay, girl, I'm about to curl my hair and get ready to record this video, but I wanted just to stop and remind you that sometimes failures happen for you, not to you. Failures and setbacks can happen for your good. It's what you decide to do with them that counts. I know, until now you've been sabotaging your success. You haven't started. You set the date and you've pushed it back. But today's the day that you decide that that happened for me, not to me. It happened for my good. And so now I'm going to use what has happened to me as momentum to move forward. As always, I want to talk with you all in the comment section. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, suggestions on anything about self-sabotage, please leave it in the comment section below. I want to know what you do whenever you're finding yourself sabotaging success. What are some of the things that you do to overcome those feelings? If you have tips and ideas, please make sure that you leave them in the chat. Let's encourage each other. It is a safe space for us to build this community. And until my next video, know that I am rooting for you to reach your most ambitious goals.